It did lack a little bit of the wow factor that I've had with some of the shoes I've tried out recently. Good evening and welcome back to my channel. Hope you are doing well. Today we're going to be looking at the Novablast 2 from ASICS, which is a new daily trainer that has just come out I think about a month ago now, and I finally got my hands on a pair here. So if you've watched any of my shoe reviews before, we're going to use a similar format. We're going to go over the specifications, we're going to take the shoe on the first run, giving me my first impressions. I'm then going to go over my likes and dislikes, and finally conclude the video with who I think the shoe is best suited for. So without further ado, let's get into the vlog. If you do like this one, please consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel for more shoe reviews, gear reviews, race day vlogs, all running related content. But yeah, let's get into the Novablast 2 from ASICS. So here it is, the Novablast 2 from ASICS. First impressions out of the box. This is a good looking shoe. I went for the light blue colourway. It's actually my favourite colour, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's got a nice red tread on the outsole there. And yeah, the white ASICS logo along the side. So I actually have only ever run in one other pair of ASICS shoes. My first ever pair of running shoes actually was an ASICS Gel Nimbus 20, I believe it was. Some 3 or 4 years ago when I first started running. I did all my runs in it. So yeah, this is the first time I've gone back to them since having them as my first shoe, because ASICS are sort of known for being a little bit on the heavier side of shoes, and if I'm totally honest, they're not always the funnest shoes to train in. They're more like durable, get the job done type shoes. But anyway, this is the Novablast. Let's go on to some of the specifications. So this shoe has got an 8mm drop, which I believe is 2mm less than the Novablast 1. So Novablast 1 had 10mm, this has 8mm of drop. In a men's US size 9, or my size, US size 8, it's 275 grams. For a daily trainer, it comes in at £130, which is pretty reasonably priced, exactly the same price as the New Balance Rebel V2, which I recently reviewed. It's got a double-walled mesh sort of upper. I haven't actually put the shoe on or run in the shoe at all yet, so I'm not sure how that is, but it looks to be quite breathable. You can sort of see the 2 layers of mesh. It's a gusseted tongue, so it's fully attached to the upper. So you should get a nice lock down there. A nice heel counter that feels quite secure, which I would expect from an ASICS shoe. This whole section here and around this area sort of is indented, and then you've got this nice like sort of geometric design here. I'm not sure if it's just a cosmetic thing or if it does something with the ride or in terms of the rebound, but we'll have a look. But yeah, you can see it's quite an aggressive 8mm drop. We've got 30mm of stack height in the rear and 22mm in the toe area. The only other features to mention is it's got this outsole here called the AHA Plus, which is a nice thick layer of, I think, just harder, either EVA or rubber, just to give the shoe a bit of durability, also in that section there. So I'm expecting this shoe to be quite a durable one. There certainly seems to be a good amount of traction on this shoe, but obviously only time will tell. And yeah, that's it for the specifications. It's time to lace this shoe up and take it on its first run. Okay, so I'm out on my first run in the ASICS Novablasts. Looking nice in that blue colourway. Tonight's run is a 16-kilometre loop, or it's around about 10 miles. Nice and easy run this evening. I'm currently training for a 50-kilometre ultra marathon,
You'll know that if you watch the previous vlog. So this week is a sort of a high mileage week, aiming to run around 140 kilometers a week at the moment, in the sort of base building phase of my ultramarathon training. I've actually only got 28 days until the 50k race, so I'm sort of skipping a few weeks in terms of my training. I'm going to go straight up to 140, maybe even 160 kilometers, which is nearly 90 to 100 miles this week. So it's a big mileage week. So my legs are feeling a little bit tired. I think I've already run around 80k in the last 3 days. So I really have been running some miles. So my legs aren't fresh. So just bear that in mind with this review. And my first impressions, what am I noticing from the first run? I'm just 4 kilometers in to this run. One of the first things I'm noticing is that 8mm drop, and I'm feeling the shoes are pushing me onto my toes. I'm a sort of mid-foot to heel striker, so I can feel that nice 30mm maximal cushioning in the heel. It's a little bit more aggressive than some of my other shoes that I'm running in at the moment, such as the Mach 4 and the Rebel V2. So yeah, that's what I'm noticing at the moment. So these shoes are definitely a maximal cushion shoe. There's definitely a lot of midsole underneath my feet, so there's no ground feel at all really in these shoes. If I had to compare them to any shoes so far, I'd probably say the Nike Invincible Run that came out earlier this year. Quite a maximal cushion shoe. I'd say it's probably a little bit firmer than the Nike sort of softer Invincible. I'm certainly not sinking into the shoe when I land. It's giving me a nice responsive sort of bounce off rebound there as I stride out a little bit. So yeah, definitely a maximal cushion shoe, but slightly firmer in some, and it's giving me a nice responsive rebound.
So I just got back from my first run in the Novablast 2 from ASICS. I really enjoyed my first run in the shoe, just over 10 miles tonight, or 17 kilometers on the dot at 4:20 per kilometers. If you want to follow my runs or my training, you can do so on Strava, Ben Felton. That takes me to 98 kilometers for the week. So quite a lot of Ks this week already, and it's only Thursday. I'm really trying to hit the high mileage this week because I haven't got long now until my first ever 50 kilometer race, which is in 28 days and counting. But anyway, back to the Novablast 2. Yeah, really enjoyed the first ride. Very comfortable, nice and responsive shoe. Perfect daily trainer, to be honest. So what did I like about this shoe? First impressions are it's a very versatile shoe. So on the run I averaged 4:20 per kilometer, but I did a few kilometers around 5-minute kilometer pace, so a little bit slower, and I also did some kilometers a little bit faster around that 4-minute per kilometer, just to see how the shoe performed at sort of different speeds. It really does get me onto my toes because of that 8mm drop, and because of that it feels comfortable at a lot of different speeds, so it's a very versatile shoe. Second thing I liked about it, it's a very fun and lively sort of ride, very sort of responsive. When you land on the shoe, it really gives you a rebound forward, I found. And finally, it has plenty of cushioning, especially if you're a bit of a heel striker like myself. I found 30mm of lovely FF Blast cushioning in the back to be plenty and very, very comfortable to run in. So some dislikes. There isn't really a lot to dislike about this shoe, if I'm totally honest, but if I had to be picky, it did lack a little bit of the wow factor that I've had with some of the shoes I've tried out recently, such as the Rebel V2. It was a very bouncy ride, and I sort of really enjoyed the first run in that shoe, whereas this one felt a little bit, it definitely didn't feel flat, but not quite as bouncy and responsive as the Rebel V2. I don't know if that's because I put a lot of miles into my legs this week, but it just didn't give me that sort of wow factor that some shoes have had. And that leads me on to my second dislike, which it does feel a little bit heavy and clunky underfoot. It's 275 grams in my size, which is a little bit on the heavy side. It's definitely not a heavy shoe, if that makes sense. So for your daily miles, this is going to be perfect. Even for your tempo work, you can probably still get away with it. But if you're looking to do intervals or any speed work, I probably wouldn't recommend this shoe because it is a little bit on the weighty side. But then again, it is a very secure and stable fit. So it has its pros and cons. And the final part of this video is, who is this shoe best suited for? So it's best suited for anyone looking for an affordable daily trainer that you can sort of do all different types of runs in. You can do your long runs in, your tempo runs, or just your easy runs. A very comfortable shoe from my first impressions. I'd also recommend it to all different types of runners. I think if you're a slower runner, you're probably going to get along well with this as well, because it did feel comfortable at the slower speeds. And same goes if you're a bit of a faster runner. It felt just as comfortable as at the faster speeds as it did at the slower speeds. So yeah, I'd recommend this shoe pretty much to anyone that's looking to get a daily shoe to do their miles in. And yeah, that pretty much summarises the video. I really enjoyed the Novablast 2. That was my first impressions. I'll give you a full review after around 50 kilometers, so stay tuned for that. If you did enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. If you'd like to donate via my PayPal link below, it just helps the purchase of shoes, get into races, that sort of thing, so that you can do that via the description. But yeah, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you with another one soon. Bye!